And everybody, welcome to another episode of Daily Energy. I'm your host, your girl Aurelia Eden, and I got that energy, that energy, that energy. Where's your energy? The day is Ari Janu, Gate de Wetness. It is the 8th day of January on a Wednesday, okay? And so today's energy is going to have a lot to do with unfortunately, loss, okay? Loss, transitions, going from one state to a next, okay? This one state from a next is having to do with death and rebirth. This is on a spiritual level, and this is on a physical level, death and rebirth. So we're going to see a lot of transitions from the physical world into the spiritual world. We're also going to have more people doing acts of service, humanity. So we're going to see more religious leaders stepping up. We're going to see more nonprofits stepping up. I talked to you yesterday about the snootiness when it came down to the homeless. And we did see a couple of things in the news regarding homeless relocations, okay? And some concerns with that. But for the most part, I am so proud of you for standing up and stepping up and tending to our less fortunate. So we say, okay, less fortunate. The less fortunate are really fortunate, but the fortunate don't know it yet. Did you catch that? The less fortunate are really fortunate, but the fortunate don't know it yet. Okay, so it's something that when the less fortunate can recognize a fortunate at a time when the fortunate is less fortunate. You see what I'm saying? They're most likely and prone to reach back to you because of a time that you reach out to them. Okay, so we're going to see more about transitions. Okay, we're gonna hear stories of overcomers. We're going to hear things that's going on on a global scale, things that's going on in the world. Okay, some words that are associated with today is denial. Okay, denial. Okay, that's only because that was in the energy for yesterday. Eliminate, because the reason why there's the word eliminate is because things are coming to a close and coming to an ending. Okay, this is energetically, things are coming to a close and end. You also have scared. Okay, because right before things end or at the end of something, there is what? Fear of the unknown. What am I going to do now? What am I going to do next? Okay, so endings oftentimes usher in fear. Okay, and sometimes fear causes people to act out. Okay, causes behavioral issues. Okay, because they're acting out of fear and they become impulsive, and that impulsiveness is why I got the words that I got in yesterday energy, but I decided not to say anything about that. And so I'm going to tell you more about that going forward. Okay, we also have people standing up for people who may feel lonely and alienated, as we had those words in the day a couple of days ago. Unify. Okay, unify is also a word of the day. So because this is the day of transition, the day of completion, the day of really rest. That's what the day brings in, okay, to a certain extent. And so we're going to see people being caught, suspects being caught. And let me tell you more about this suspect being caught. Okay, I'm getting something about El Capo. Okay, I'm picking up on a lot of vice energy here. I'm picking up on a lot of police activity, cops activities, police looking for shooting suspects, and trying to get justice for shooting victims. I saw shoot yesterday, but I did not say that because I thought it wasn't going to be relevant, but it ended up being relevant. And so I told you a couple of days ago about something going on about the mob, the mafia. I'm getting something coming in, the energy coming in for cartels. Also vice, ICE. Okay, this energy is still here. That ICE energy is still here. So I'm getting more movement, more border patrol, more movement regarding immigrants. Okay, African immigrants, Mexican immigrants. I'm also getting something picking up on India, something coming in about the Indian culture here that we'll be hearing over the news over the next 1 to 3 days. Okay. So the capo is the head of the crime, head of a crime syndicate. Okay, especially the mafia. Okay, so that's why I keep saying mafia, because I seen something about the mob. So we're going to hear something about a capture or a breakthrough with that. Something, a long investigation or something along those lines come to an end. I've been telling you, I've been seeing a lot about cannabis and narcotics and stuff in the reading. So there's been a lot of like drug activity, okay? A lot of drug activity. And speaking of which I saw something about, who was that? A Houston doctor that basically was fired, okay? Because they found drugs in his system, okay? Specifically cocaine in his system. And I remember over the last few days, I've been talking about doctors and I've been talking about narcotics and medication, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I'm also picking up on an arrival of something. We're going to see something about arrival. The energy is about arrival, a coming in. See, a lot of people are losing their loved ones at this time. Their loved ones are transitioning into the spirit. And so hearts go out to you at this time. If you had a loved one that just recently transitioned into the spirit between last night and this morning, hearts go out to you at this time. We're going to see a lot of condolences going out. We're going to see a lot more when there's endings, they bring on beginnings. Okay, so death bring rebirth. So over the next 1 or 2 days, we're going to hear a lot about death and conception. Speaking of conception, I'm getting a lot of woman fertility energy. So in the news, we're going to hear more about maybe IVF, birth control, abortion clinics, something along those lines, pregnancies, things having to do more with women's health. Okay, and maybe even possibly how the cold weather is affecting these things. Okay, women potentially, and I hope not, but this is just the energy, because the other day we had abandonment. And so tying that energy with this energy, women abandoning their children in the cold, finding children in the cold, this type of thing. But because this is humanitarian energy, we're going to hear, I'm going to say, also not just the negative side of things, but also the positive side of things. Okay, so this is some things you can expect to see in the news over the next 1 to 3 days. The reason why I say 1 to 3 days, because the energy comes in, but it does not go away immediately. It stays, it festers. Sometimes it comes in so subtle, sometimes it comes in fast. It either, if it comes in subtle, it'll build up over time. And so we'll see more and more of those cases until we see that one big build up case that it is trying to get to. Like, for instance, I was talking about fire, fire in the last, I think that was like the first or the second video that I did. And I kept predicting a fire. And I was wondering why that wasn't going away. And it's because it was building up to the fires that were getting ready to happen in California. So if you're affected by those fires, hearts go out to you and your families as well at this time. Okay, we were talking about deaths and rebirths. Okay, so over the last few days, we've been having a lot, I'm going to say last 9 days or so, we've been hearing a lot about, mass shootings, mass this, mass that. And I'm even picking up on something that's having to do with a mass occurrence today. It could be the Vatican and mass, but it's going to be something significant coming in about mass, because I got Vatican, VAT, something dealing with that. And I'm associating that with the Pope and the Vatican. Okay. So we're going to hear news on that. Okay. I also see something coming in about treaties and protocols, okay? Agreements being made, pacts being made, coming in, okay? And this could be something that, like I said, that affects the Spanish speaking community, okay? Because I am picking up on a lot dealing with that. That potentially that affects them, okay? That deals with immigration, okay? Contracts being signed. We're going to hear more about contracts, contractual agreements, covenants being made, conventions. When I look at conventions, we're going to hear more about a convention or some kind of public event that doesn't get a lot of occurrence because of the weather and because of the fear of people who are afraid of mass events right now. So we're going to hear more about that. We're going to also hear some news about actors, okay, coming in. I'm seeing a lot of actor activity, okay, with things such as the Golden Globes and other events that's been happening. That's not unusual, okay? I talked about people getting their flowers. Okay, some people are going to get their flowers. There's going to be some criticism, because I was getting words like criticism over the next few days as well coming in. Okay, so I'm also getting like top actors. We're going to hear something significant in the news about a top actor, someone higher up. This could be... Let's see what this is about, because I was picking up like anorexic activity, and I'm tying this anorexic activity. Maybe this has something to do with Ozempic, okay? Because not anorexic, eating disorders, okay? Let's call it that, eating disorders, okay? So we may see something on Twitter, social media, or something about that, because I'm still picking up on eating disorders. It's not going away. It's still there. It was just in there yesterday, okay? And so... I did see an article about, I can't remember her last name, but Allison is someone that she did major research when it came down to that, and she died sometime last year. I want to say she died. I think she died at the age of 56, but I don't feel like that's it. I feel like it's more to it, okay? Because I'm picking up actor, music is coming in. So entertainment is still going to be highlighted, especially with some of the words that I'm getting. I am getting humanitarian activity, something significant coming in about a coats, clothing is significant. Maybe we see more people doing humanitarian services, clothing the sick, clothing the homeless, feeding the sick type of situation. We may see more of that going on in the news over the next 1 or 3 days. I say may, but at this rate, I already know. Okay. But jackets, raincoats, we might see something about a new invention, new auxiliary or something being put in jackets and raincoats. We saw the video, the auxiliary being put in glasses. Okay, which is something that they say the Bourbon Street attack suspect, whatever you want to call him, I'm evil doer. Okay, that he was wearing during the time of the attack. So auxiliary or something that have something new fabric or something that I've been picking up. I've been picking up something about fabric. So it could be something fashionable, but it may just be a humanitarian act. To where, I started smiling when I said humanitarian, because, over the last few days, I've been saying humanitarianism. So I'm proud of myself. Ain't you proud of me? I said humanitarian instead of humanitarianism. Okay, because it just sounds wrong to me. I don't know why. All right. But I'm seeing, and I also got something about goat, sheep, here. So we're seeing wool. Okay, so this fashion thing that may come in, this could be PETA. Okay, ain't that what they call it, PETA? The ones that like, hey, don't you use them animals for that. Okay, you don't be going and killing these animals to be wearing on your fancy backs. Okay, don't be using these animals for that. So we may see PETA come up as up against some actor for some celebrity fashion that they wore at the Golden Globes or something, or so. Okay, we may see come up about a coat, like a coat that was made of fur, and Peter was like, yeah, let me go ahead and throw this on you real fast, okay, because we're not doing that. Okay, because I've been getting something about sheep and goats. Okay, layers covering, wash. Okay, veneer. Okay, veneer. So dentistry energy is coming in as well. I got veneers and cavities. So and this could have something to do with the fluoride that's been found in the water. Okay, remember I was telling you that there was something coming up about water contamination. Remember? Well, they're finding that fluoride in water could be affecting IQs. Okay, and so there was a boil water. Okay, they're advising people to boil water. Okay, and this could have something to do with also, well, I wouldn't say that it has something to do with it has to do with the contamination, because I always find that the cleanest water comes out of the snow. Like, I have water for my animals, and I find that in the wintertime, the water is so much cleaner and clearer than it is in the summertime with all of the algae and stuff that occurs. But check your local news, as some authorities are advising people to boil water. Okay, some of you don't have power, and so because you don't have power, you might not be able to boil anything. But I want you to know that where there is a will, there is a way. Where there is a will, there is a way. Okay, get you a bucket. Okay, get you a metal bucket. Put you some a few pieces of wood in there if you don't got a wood burning stove. Put you a plate on top of that, and baby, cook away, but be safe. Okay, where there is a will, there is a way. I mean, I come from a poor family. We didn't have much, but the Lord's been good to me. Hey, we were raised. Okay, come on now. I don't remember if they say in a shackyard. Sometimes no food or clothes were put on our backs. Hey, mama and daddy, they did the best they could. They always told me, nigga, always be good. All right. So, where there's a will, there is a way, baby. Yes, indeed. All right. So I'm also picking up, energy. Okay. I'm still picking up goat energy. And when we're talking about goats, we're talking about sports. We're talking about entertainment. And, I am seeing something about, someone advancing, over the opponent. Okay, we're talking about the best of the best, the greatest of all times. Okay, we're going to hear something about them in the news. Who is that? Because when I think about the best of the best, the greatest of all time, times. Okay? Who are you thinking about? Okay? Who are you thinking about? Because I'm thinking about Michael Jordan. Okay? The best of the best, the greatest of all times. And that could just be because, my fellow Aquarians. Okay? My fellow Aquarians. That's just what I'm saying. Okay? But who was that? Someone has made in the realms of sports has made record history. I want to say it's LeBron James. Okay, that's supposed to be next up in line. He might not be the next Michael Jordan. Okay, because there's only one Michael Jordan, but he just may be the next big thing. Okay, we could say that, but there's only one you, boo. Okay, all right. So we're getting energy coming in about a scapegoat. Somebody is going to use somebody else. We're going to see somebody doing something wrong, and they're going to use somebody else as a scapegoat. Don't you be that person. Don't you be that person, because yesterday we got business activity, and something might have went wrong yesterday at work because somebody wasn't paying attention. They wasn't paying attention and listening and being aware, and because they weren't paying attention, listening, and being aware, they were being foolish. That we may hear something come up in the news today that somebody's going to use somebody as a scapegoat. This could be a politician not taking accountability for the things that he or she has done. And so they find a way out by doing what? By blaming somebody else. This is energetically. So this is the things that I tell you. It's not just for politics. It's not politicians. This is for politicians and personal life. Okay. So you might find yourself being blamed for something that you didn't do. And it's not, it's your bosses not wanting to take accountability for the things that they didn't do. How can they expect you to do something that they didn't train you to do? Okay, so there's a lot of people going to be losing their jobs today because we had employment yesterday. So a lot of people are going to be losing your jobs today because today's energy brings in endings, loss. Okay, I want you to know it's not necessarily something you did wrong, baby. Sometimes what happens when you get an ending is for your beginning. So what God would do oftentimes, he will take you from one place to get you to your best place. Okay, so don't wallow in this. Don't worry about how. Just focus on what you want to happen, because what you think you attract. So focus on what you want to happen. Focus on what you want to see. Baby, go put in them applications like I told you yesterday and do it immediately. Okay? Because this is not going to be the story to where you say, woe is me. This is going to be your come up, your success story, especially if you're the chosen of God. And this whole time you've been down. If you've been down, this is your opportunity for up. But when you were in the job that you were in, you were limiting yourself. And now what's happening is the divine is trying to transition you over into your newness. But in order for you to get there, you have to get away from there. In death comes rebirth. Okay? In death comes rebirth. In endings come new beginnings. So get back out there, okay? Don't allow what they said about you to stop you. Okay. All right. So we also have something coming in about evacuations, vaccinations. Okay. Evacuations and vaccinations. So I talked about the fires in California. Well, we're going to see evacuations. Also, I'm picking up on volcanic activity. Excuse me, coming in. I'm picking up on volcanic activity coming in. All right. This could be something about a volcano in Hawaii, or this just could be the divine trying to communicate with me that there's going to be ash. So we're going to hear more about ash coverings, okay? And they're going to be recommending that you put coverings over your stuff to maybe prevent ash damage, okay? I've also been picking up over the last few days the energy of oils and smears. Okay, was it oil and smear? It's definitely been smear energy. Okay, but we know there's been an oil spill that's been going on. Um, I'm seeing something about military energy coming in. I told you about this, whoever this is going to be, but I'm picking up military official activity, people getting discharged from the military due to misconduct. I am picking that up. And I told you about whoever this military official is that we're going to see in the news. He or she could have something to do with something about rape, uh, um, or something of that another dealing with that here. Okay, could be a higher up, a captain, a lieutenant, because I'm hearing captain and lieutenant today. So there's going to be something coming in about a captain and a lieutenant, okay, or something military. We're going to see prominent in the news over the next 1 to 3 days. It doesn't have to just be one person. We're going to hear multiple stories about such, okay. Something then put a stop to, something coming to a conclusion. I told you about the mafia, so something coming to a conclusion with that. All right, am I in the right notes? Wait a minute. Okay. All right, so I'm in the right notes. Okay. I am also seeing something about cameras and lenses. Okay, cameras and lenses. So there's more videos that's going to circulate. And I'm picking up Twitter. X. Okay, I'm picking up X. I'm picking up social media. I'm getting something really strong about social media and a social media post that goes viral. What is this going to be? Okay, it's going to be something because I see it happening. Okay, it's going to be something. Okay, I just keep picking up something social media. It could be authorities trying to put a stop to certain social media activities. It could be something coming to finalization about, the TikTok ban. Okay, but I'm seeing more news happening over that over the next 1 to 3 days. Limits being imposed. We'll hear something about limits being imposed, not just in the news, but in your life too. Okay. Don't put limits on yourself though. Okay. You remember when I was talking about, sometimes you limit yourself, and that's why it seems like you can't find the job right now, is because you're limiting yourself. Okay. And it's like, sometimes it's not that you're not hireable, but what it is that you're limiting yourself. And it's like God wants you to get more, but you're trying to settle for less. Okay. I told you about my friend girls, and I have multiple that are teachers, and I always encourage them, to go up to the higher level in education, because when it comes down to it, I'm talking about the great mothers. Okay. Yeah, girl. Yes, baby, you are a great mother. Okay. Hearts go out to you, my boo. You are a great mother. And that's why I always try to encourage you to go up. Okay, to go up to the next level, because I feel like there are some teens that need people just like you, but they say stuff like, girl, I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience. And so, but sometimes it's the very thing that you are afraid of is the thing that can help you the most. Okay. It's the thing that you need the most. Remember me over the last few months and years. And so I wouldn't say I was afraid of it, but I was cautious of it for sure. And that's doing exactly what it is I am doing now, using my intuition, because I was afraid people were going to call me a witch. But then I started thinking about that thing, and I was like, they've been calling me a witch all my life. So let me get out of that energy. Okay. But yeah, so that's where you get to. It's like you limit yourself, because it's the one thing that you try to avoid. Sometimes that's the one thing that God is trying to push you into. So don't limit yourself. But I do see limits being put in action, caps, ceilings. So I'm getting bank and accounting. Okay. So I see a raise or lowering of local authority spending, places of limits, restrictions, coming in here. So prices, borrowing, okay, expenditures, that type of thing. We'll see more news on that coming in the news, more news about banks. okay, and how banks are being affected at this time by the closures. Maybe we'll see something about taxes. We're entering tax season, so we'll see more about financial news coming up. Okay, um, gills and pores, fruiting gills and pores, whatever that's about. I have no clue what that is. Fruiting gills and pores. Okay. All right, so we're going to see a climax in something, like an escalation of something, and so we are going to get an escalation or a climax of something dealing with some world news issue. Okay, this might be having something to do with the Russia and Ukraine war, but I see something going on about a climax, okay, happening here. Also, I'm seeing something about royalty coming in, okay. I'm getting words like crown, okay, crown, all right, and so and higher up, crown and higher up, and this could also have something to do with the transition from President Biden to President Trump, so to speak, okay? But I'm getting something crown, and when I get crown, I think UK. When I get crown, I think something foreign, okay? I'm getting a lot of foreign news coming in. Something about Africa and the living conditions in Africa, or something along those lines. I'm getting something about living conditions, something about home conditions. We may see something come in the news about poor conditions, as we talked about quality that's been circulating over the last few days or so. Okay, so so I got something along sports team, nationals, and tickets, okay? Something about tickets, and I saw this morning or something about tickets being really cheap right now because, of the weather, and people, they're not going to expect people to show up, that type of thing. So they're dropping tickets right now due to the weather, okay? All right, so something coming in about a university. Okay, I'm getting university energy coming in, university degree, education. We'll keep hearing more about the education, more closures. Okay, more school closures due to the weather, the cold weather, more cold weather reporting, more cold weather accidents, more cold weather news. Okay. All right. And also there may be something coming in to where instead of closing it to where kids don't go to school at all, what I see happening is that they may decide to not close the schools per se, but transition it to online school instead of the going to school like they did in COVID. Okay. And so instead, so some students, you won't get out of going to school. You would just have to go to school online. Okay. All right. Something gibberish coming in, something gibberish, some nonsense is going to happen. We're going to see some fabricated stories. We're going to see some exposures here, exaggerated talk or writings or something like that, some straight nonsense. So we see some frustrating energy coming up. Because we're at the end of a cycle and things just start to go crazy, okay, before they begin again and calm down a little bit tomorrow. Agricultural policies coming in, something about agricultural policies, agricultural animals coming in, air patrol, more about aircraft closures, groundings, more about aircrafts, more about patrol. Okay, a lot of police activity, a lot of catches and arrests, a lot of shooting victims, a lot of type things like that, catching people who thought they were going to get away with stuff and they're not going to get away with it. So I got offenders, receive, and attain. Okay. Also, I'm still getting strike energy, so we're going to still see more about strikes. Okay, and to double down on the money finance thing that I was getting. I'm also getting peso, okay, coming in. Smog is significant, haze, okay, volcanic dust, okay, and gases. All right, so we know there's fires, we know there's oil spills and stuff. So we're going to be hearing more about that. Hawaii may join the party with some kind of volcanic activity. Okay, earthquakes or not. We're going to hear more news on earthquakes. Okay, because I'm getting divides and splits. Divides and splits. This could be more like a political party being divided or split. Something divided and split. I'm getting that. I'm getting more on cruise ships, more on big ships being stuck or capsized. I'm picking up on that energy here. I'm getting gap. Like we could hear something about the gap, like the actual company Gap. Okay, we could hear more. Maybe their stock goes up, maybe their stock decreases, because remember, I'm getting a lot of financial energy here, so that's not unexpected here. Okay, but news about that and fashion. Okay, we got the coats and all of that, so definitely something going on with Gap. Okay. And when it came down to who was that, Kraft, there is definitely something a brewing with Kraft, okay, having to do with their finances, okay, because that still energy is still there. Okay, I do feel like they're struggling here. Okay. All right. So bonuses and awards coming in, something about avocados coming in, Pope, Vatican, drums and boilers. Okay. Okay. Taxes, actors, appointments, okay? Appointments and apartments, okay, will be highlighted, okay? Something happening that somebody feels is inappropriate, okay? They feel like maybe it's inappropriate attire, okay? That's that PETA activity probably. Apartment complex, okay? Something about apartment complex is coming in on the news. A cat, okay? We'll see something about a cat, okay? Babies, jazz. Okay, tiny houses. Okay, housing. Remember I was telling you about that. Someone by the name of Pat. Okay, maybe we hear something about Patti LaBelle. Yes, Patti LaBelle. Okay, coming in. But something about Pat. Okay, clap. Okay, Pat and clap. So it could be, like I said, someone getting their roses. More on banks, jackpots, and it could be even on theft, because we have finance energy here. Bellies, okay, and pregnancies. Something coming in about an engine. All right. Okay, preserving food. Oh, okay, so that's what it is. So they may try to put a limitation in the stores on how many products you can buy in the stores to make sure that they have enough for everybody. You will also see something about bargains and deals. Okay, insulation coming up is what I'm seeing. All right, so Prime is still here. It could be the Prime Minister, Amazon Prime. The energy is still here. I'm seeing revolvers and pistols. Okay, so increased in shootings in the next 1 to 3 days. Okay, or so. All right, there was one yesterday, and then the energy is here today again. Okay, but discontinuations, you want to pay attention to see what that discontinuation is about. Recoveries, redeems, and arrivals. So Trump's son may be coming back home. Okay, we may see more about that. Progress is being made nonetheless. Okay. I told you about the social media. Okay, I see passage. Okay, tags, passage, flags, stamps. Okay, don't lick them, because I'm still seeing something about chemicals. So I still feel like there's still chemical warfare. Something about operations coming up as well. Surgical operations, radio, telephone operator. Something coming in about operations and observation. Thus, we have that social media, press. Okay, press. Public announcements coming up, okay, over the next 1 to 3 days. Emotional is irritation, grief, and pleasure. Okay, these are some things that you could expect here. Okay, is what I'm seeing. Okay, animation is highlighted. Okay, let's see. All right. So I love y'all. God bless one. You take care of yourself and each other. Okay. Hearts go out to you. Okay. Well, wait a minute. I got identification as well. Something about identification and indicated links. They're going to find new links between suspects and new links to different things we're going to hear about. Okay. But I love you. Google one. Hearts go out. You get a heart. You get a heart. You get a heart. Hearts go out. Hearts go out. You take care of yourself and each other.